What's up guys, Simon here from Simon Mastering, and today I'm gonna show you how you mix Neuro Basslines, dubstep basslines, these kind of modern basslines. And I asked in my private Facebook group, Simon Mastering private group, I asked which topics you wanted to see. And I think 2 people replied that they want to see about mixing Neuro basslines or dubstep basslines. So here's the video. Here I show you how you mix it. And I'm showing you the way in Cubase, but you can do it exactly how I do it in every other DAW. So it's no problem if you are in Ableton Live, because I know most of you are in Ableton Live. And you can simply copy it one-to-one what I do. So let's start right with the method. I just loaded up some loops here, some dubstep loop, some kind of dubstep loop. And first, I'm going to show you the simplest method. There are different methods how to create Neuro basslines and mix them, and there are different methods of sidechaining the kick and the bass. Because if we are talking about basslines, if we are talking about mixing basslines, there's always coming the fight with the kick drum, at least in electronic music. So we always have to include also how you mix the bassline with the kick drum. And I show you also different techniques how you sidechain or mix the bass with the kick. As always, I try to always go the simplest way possible. Whenever something is getting too nerdy, too complicated, I'm out. I'm always looking for the simplest and fastest solution. So, okay, the first thing, we're gonna make a very simple bassline. If we find a dubstep or neuro bassline which is good from the beginning, it's perfect. So let's start. I will not go into detail of synthesis here because it's not the topic. The topic is mixing the basslines. So let's see what I have here. Okay, now I have found a preset. I just searched for my preset folder, and I find a nice sounding bassline, and I'm gonna create a fast bassline pattern. Something like this. Just we're gonna correct it a little bit. Okay, so the first thing, how to mix this bassline, it's pretty simple. As I said, it's the first one. I would simply, I don't know, let's see if the bassline needs some processing. Maybe low cut it. I always in the mixing stage, I find the best sounding low cut to me is the Fab Filter low cut. In linear phase mode. Okay, and now what we're gonna do, we have to sidechain it. Oops. I have to say it's pretty strange for me because I never mix or produce in headphones, but for the recording it's necessary that I wear a headphone, so it's really hard for me to get the levels right, especially on bass lines. So I just play around with it so you okay, now when we mix it, the problem is that we have to sidechain it to the kick. So how do we do it? I'm gonna show you different methods of sidechaining. First of all, there's the normal sidechain technique where the kick triggers the compressor, and on the second there's another technique where you just sidechain the low end. And there are two different ways to do this. One more tricky way, one more simple way. First of all, I'm gonna sidechain just a complete bass line. I really try to be fast here, but it's not so easy. Okay. Now the compressor. Oh, I forgot. We just need to sidechain, the kick drum. So first we need to isolate the kick. So I just duplicated the audio, and I'm just using this. This is the beat, this is the kick trigger, and I route the kick trigger. The output of the kick trigger is going into the sidechain from the other track, so it doesn't. The fader here just determines the volume of the kick trigger from the Serum input. Maybe we will delete this here. When it's coming about sidechain, I find the goal of sidechaining kick and bass is always, not always, but most of the time, that you don't hear the sidechaining pumping. So a subtle sidechain would be maybe a gain reduction of 3 dB. More heavy sidechain would be gain reduction of 6 to 9 dB. I think if you are going stronger than 9 dB of gain reduction, it will be very audible. Of course, if it's if you want the sound, it's totally fine. Just saying that I'm always sidechaining not too heavy in such a situation. 14 dB of sidechain compression. Then the next thing is we can sidechain just the low end, and there are two tricks to do this. The easiest one is if you simply copy the bass line, and if you split it into low frequency and high frequency. We're gonna use bass low. The first is bass low, the second is bass high, and bass high we're gonna delete the sidechain compressor, and what we also have to do is, of course, we have to apply the low cut, and it's important to find the right spot here, that because there are phase issues. If you mix the lows and the highs, it's not totally clean regarding the phase. So we first have to. So here we have the lows. Something like 100 Hertz. And the low end is still sidechained by the kick, and now we can shape the mid and high range of the bass line without the sidechain compressor on it, which gives us really nice combination of possibilities. So now you have the low-end sidechained, while the high-end or mid-range and high range of the bassline isn't sidechained. And that's the first method. And the second sidechain method, I'm gonna delete this, is a little bit tricky to set up, but I will, still try to show you this trick. What you're gonna do, you create a group, or yes, you create a group and you route the bassline into the group. I have to think, I hope I can reconstruct this trick again, because I never used it for a long time. I would use it, I would do the trick how I showed you, but this one is the other one. It's a little bit tricky. Then you put a gate in the group. What we now gonna do, it's a little bit complicated. We send the kick trigger into the gate here. The gate, we have to activate the sidechain. So we send the kick into the sidechain group 1. So the gate opens when the kick trigger hits, and when the gate opens, we're gonna play just the low end of the bassline, and we're gonna invert the phase. Ta-da! And what it's gonna do is, now, whenever the kick drum is playing, the gate opens and the inverted low end from the bassline is gonna be played. So what does it does? It eliminates the low end. And you can decide when you don't apply the low cut, the high cut here, then the complete bass is going to be eliminated, because it's phase inverted. And if you copy a signal and you invert the phase of one signal and you apply it, it eliminates itself completely. So wait, and when we now apply the equalizer here, or the filter, we can determine which frequency is eliminated here. As you see, this trick is a little bit complicated, so I would not advise you to use it. But if it's more simple for you to set up, or if it works for you, you can use it. The idea is to use a gate which is triggered by the kick drum, and the gate opens up the inverted sub bass of the bass, so it eliminates the low end of the real bass signal when the kick drum hits. It's very complicated. Okay, then let's move on, because I don't want this video to make this video too long. The next thing is about creating Neuro Basslines. And how do you create nice Neuro Basslines? I think the great way is to layer it. And again, here we're gonna layer, we're gonna use a sub bass and a mid and high frequency bass, and the mid and high frequency bass is gonna be the Neuro Bassline, and the sub frequency, I would recommend you to only use a saw wave. Only use a saw wave as the low end. And it's good to have, for the low end, to have a very stable and strong signal. And the saw wave is perfect for it, so let's use it. What I'm gonna do is I create a nice sub bass just out of a saw wave, filter the saw wave, and try to distort it a little bit, give it some harmonics to make it more fat, to make it stronger, warmer, something like this. Again, it's really hard for me to judge because I'm absolutely not used to listen on headphones or produce or mix on headphones. I use headphones only to cross-check. I use headphones are great to listen to small cracks if a recording is sounding nice, etc. Now I would apply the sidechain compressor on the low end here. I would always sidechain a little bit. Zack, zack. Just that it's not really hörbar. Noticeable. Okay, and then we can create with the bass low. Then we can work with the other synthesizer here. We can create the Neuro Bassline, which is just playing in the mid frequency range and high frequency range. And we are gonna have a lot of possibilities here because we can use any lead sound here. And the great thing is also now you have your low end in mono, you have the mid or up bass, you can do crazy stuff here. Let's see what we else can do. Schrauber. I haven't used Serum in a while, that's why I'm a little bit slow. Nice. Just make some. Okay. Pretty nice. Then we can try some distortion. Also, we can try some reverb. I can try the great thing is now I can apply all reverb, delay and stuff on the mid and high frequencies on the Neuro bass, while the sub is still very tight, really pumping and pretty tight. Maybe too much. Okay, and then what we also can do, I don't know if I do this. Sometimes we can for more glue we can route the two bass low and bass high into a bass group. Wait, where's the mixer here? Zack. So we route them into bass group, and then we can compress them a little bit for gluing. I don't like the reverb here, I have to put it off. Okay, and we can, I don't know, apply some Maybe you are questioning now, why do I EQ it on the group channel and not on the individual channel? You can EQ on the individual channel, of course, as well, but I also always find it nice to EQ on groups and apply effects on groups, because it all has the effect of glue. And yeah, and that's how how you get really tight, really strong Neuro Basslines, and you can be really creative here. You can really be creative with the lead, with the mid frequencies and the high frequencies. Personally, I always use this method, how I showed you, that I use a saw wave and I apply some nice saturation, apply a low cut here around 120, and I always use this as my sub bass, because the saw wave is very stable. And then I sidechain the saw wave, and then I get crazy with the mid and high frequencies. Yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoy it, and peace.